All right, let's jump into another deep dives into character creation in Dungeons & Dragons.
Sounds good to me.
Today we are building a first-level Dwarven Cleric, a champion of the faith who is ready to face any dungeon's depths.
A fantastic choice. A solid foundation for any adventuring party.
So we're going to delve into the core mechanics and choices that bring this character to life. You know, all the nuts and bolts.
It's like we're assembling a sacred clock, carefully choosing each gear and spring to create a powerful instrument of divine will.
I love that.
A divine instrument.
The first things first, abilities.
Right.
Every D&D character is built on those 6 core abilities. You know, strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma.
Of course, the fundamental building block.
Yeah, these affect everything. I mean, from, swinging a warhammer to convincing a king to join your quest.
Indeed. A versatile set of attributes.
But for our Dwarven Cleric, wisdom reigns supreme.
Absolutely. The cornerstone of their divine power.
It fuels their connection to the divine. It makes their spells crackle with holy energy.
Imagine your Dwarven Cleric drawing upon a deep well of wisdom honed over generations of priestly tradition. That connection to the divine makes their spells more potent, their blessings more powerful.
So let's move on to those traits that make dwarves so awesome. First up, darkvision.
Ah, a gift from the depths.
Picture this. You're deep in a dungeon. The air is thick with that scent of mildew, and the only light is the faint glimmer of your torch. And suddenly it sputters and dies, plunging you into darkness.
A common occurrence in the treacherous underworld.
But your Dwarven Cleric, they just keep marching on.
Indeed.
Their eyes piercing the gloom thanks to generations spent in the heart of the mountains. Talk about an advantage.
Indeed. Their vision extends beyond the reach of mundane light, giving them a tactical edge in the shadowy depths of the world. It's almost as if the mountains themselves have imbued them with this ability, a gift from the stone itself.
And speaking of gifts from the stone, dwarves have an incredible resistance to poison, thanks to dwarven resilience.
A testament to their hardy nature.
Think about it. Centuries spent mining precious metals and delving into the earth's secrets. They encounter all sorts of strange and dangerous substances.
The hazards of a subterranean life.
Over time, they've built up a natural immunity to toxins.
A natural defense against the perils of the deep.
Which is super handy in a world where venomous creatures and poisonous traps lurk around every corner.
Indeed, a crucial survival trait for any denizen of the Underdark.
And they've got another trick up their sleeve. Stone cunning.
Ah, an innate understanding of the Earth's architecture.
This innate ability allows them to sense irregularities in stonework.
Makes them excellent dungeon explorers. Think of it like an intuition for all things stone, able to detect hidden passages, pressure plates, or even structural weaknesses that could spell danger.
Oh, yeah. Imagine your Dwarven Cleric, placing their hand on a seemingly solid wall, their brow furrowed in concentration as they trace its surface. Suddenly, their eyes widen. There, they whisper, pointing to a faint seam in the stone. A secret passage.
Precisely. A keen eye for detail honed by generations of dwelling amidst the mountain's embrace.
That's the kind of stuff that makes adventuring so exciting. And to top it all off, dwarves have dwarven toughness, which means they got extra hit points, making them super durable in a fight.
It speaks to their resilience, their ability to withstand hardship and emerge even stronger. They're like living mountains, unyielding in the face of adversity.
Okay, we've got our Dwarven Cleric's mind and body sorted. Now let's talk about what they're bringing to the fight.
Let's equip our champion. Provide them with the tools they need to fulfill their sacred duty.
First up, weapon proficiency.
Ah, the instruments of their faith.
Our Dwarven Cleric is a frontline fighter, comfortable wading into melee with a mace or a hand axe. These weapons aren't just about dealing damage.
Indeed, they represent something more.
They're extensions of their faith, instruments of divine justice.
The mace, a symbol of authority and righteous force capable of delivering crushing blows. And the hand axe, a tool of both war and craft, embodying their duality as both warrior and artisan.
And for protection. Heavy armor, of course. It's like wearing a mobile fortress, shielding them from harm as they stand firm against the forces of evil.
A stalwart bulwark against the encroaching darkness.
Sure, might be a bit clunky, but it's a small price to pay for feeling like an unyielding bulwark of faith.
But remember, every choice has its trade-offs. That heavy armor, while offering exceptional protection, may limit their agility in tight spaces. It's a strategic decision, a balancing act between defense and mobility. Have you considered the benefits of medium armor? It could provide a balance between protection and agility.
That's an excellent point. It all depends on the kind of challenges you expect to face. Maybe we'll delve into that later on. But one thing is for sure. No matter the armor, our Dwarven Cleric wouldn't be complete without their holy symbol.
Ah, yes, the outward manifestation of their devotion, a conduit for their divine power.
Exactly. It's more than just a religious icon, it's a spellcasting focus.
Channeling their divine energy into tangible effects.
It's like having a direct line to their deity, allowing them to call upon miracles and blessings with a word and a gesture.
And it speaks to the importance of faith in their character. It's not just about swinging a weapon or casting a spell, it's about wielding divine power with conviction and purpose.
All right, now for the really exciting part, the magic. We've touched on how important wisdom is for a cleric's spellcasting, but let's break down the mechanics a bit. Imagine a cleric spells like a quiver full of arrows. Each arrow represents a spell slot, a unit of magical energy they can expend to unleash a specific effect. They have a limited number of spell slots per day, and once they're used up, they need to rest to replenish them.
It's a system that reflects the delicate balance between their mortal nature and their access to divine power. They can't simply fling spells around willy-nilly, they need to choose their moments wisely, conserving their energy for when it truly matters.
Exactly. Now, there are some spells they can use without tapping into those precious spell slots. Cantrips. Think of these like magical tricks, simple but effective spells they can cast at will.
Minor miracles, readily available to those who walk the path of faith.
Our Dwarven Cleric has some particularly handy ones up their sleeve. Light to illuminate those dark corners we were talking about, Sacred Flame for a quick burst of holy fire, and Thaumaturgy to create all sorts of spooky effects, like making their eyes glow or their voice boom like thunder.
These cantrips, while seemingly minor, can prove invaluable in a variety of situations. Light dispels the darkness that conceals danger. Sacred Flame offers a reliable ranged attack infused with divine power. And Thaumaturgy allows for subtle manipulations of the environment, adding an element of surprise or intimidation.
They're like a magician's toolkit, adding a touch of flair and versatility to our Dwarven Cleric's repertoire. But the real power lies in their first-level spells, the kind that drain those precious spell slots but pack a serious punch.
Ah, yes. The spells that truly define a cleric's role in a party, shaping their approach to combat, exploration, and social interaction.
First up, Bless.
A classic and versatile spell.
It's a support spell that enhances their allies' attacks and saving throws, granting them a touch of divine favor. Imagine a party of adventurers, facing a fearsome foe, their hearts pounding with anticipation. Suddenly, our Dwarven Cleric raises their holy symbol, uttering words of power, and a warm golden light washes over their companions, instilling them with courage and bolstering their abilities.
It's a subtle but impactful spell, reflecting their role as a shepherd, guiding and protecting their flock. It might not deal direct damage, but it can swing the tide of battle in favor of good.
Then we have Command, a spell that lets them control an opponent's actions for a short time. It's like a verbal judo move, using the power of their voice to disrupt enemy strategies. Imagine a charging ogre about to crush your rogue beneath its massive club, but our Dwarven Cleric intervenes booming. Halt! The ogre freezes, its mind momentarily dominated by the cleric's will.
A powerful display of the cleric's authority, bending even the most savage will to their command.
And of course, we can't forget Cure Wounds. It's the bread and butter of any cleric, a spell that embodies their divine connection to healing and restoration. Imagine a wounded fighter, bleeding profusely from a gruesome wound. Our Dwarven Cleric rushes to their aid, placing their hand on the injury and channeling a surge of radiant energy. The wound closes, the pain recedes, and the fighter stands ready to fight another day.
It's a testament to their compassion, their commitment to preserving life and easing suffering. It's a reminder that a cleric is more than just a warrior. They are a beacon of hope, a symbol of resilience in the face of adversity.
All right, we've covered a lot of ground. Time for a little.
And we've only just begun to explore the depth of our Dwarven Cleric's spellcasting abilities. Remember, these spells are more than just mechanics. They represent choices you'll make as a player, shaping your character's role in the party and their impact on the world around them.
Yeah, it's like having a whole toolbox of divine magic at your fingertips.
Precisely.
Each spell is a tool with a specific purpose, and mastering those tools is what makes playing a cleric so rewarding.
Indeed. A symphony of divine power waiting to be orchestrated. A symphony of divine power waiting to be orchestrated.
So let's delve into a few more of those tools, shall we? Detect magic.
A spell that allows your Dwarven Cleric to sense and identify magical auras.
Right.
Imagine you're exploring a dusty tomb and you stumble upon a hidden chamber filled with ancient artifacts.
Oh,
Your cleric, with their keen senses, can use detect magic to determine which objects are imbued with power and which are merely mundane relics.
right.
It adds a layer of intrigue and discovery to exploration.
It's like having X-ray vision for magic.
Precisely.
They can see what others can't, uncovering secrets and hidden dangers.
Unmasking the arcane.
And when it comes to dealing damage, Guiding Bolt is where it's at.
A beacon of divine wrath.
This spell not only blasts an enemy with radiant energy, but also illuminates them with a divine beacon, granting advantage to the next attack against the target.
Picture this.
Yeah.
You're facing a heavily armored foe, their shield deflecting every blow. Your fighter is struggling to find an opening, their attacks glancing harmlessly off the enemy's defenses. But then, your Dwarven Cleric steps forward and a bolt of pure light erupts from their outstretched hand, striking the enemy with blinding force.
Whoa.
Suddenly, the foe is vulnerable, bathed in an ethereal light that highlights every chink in their armor, making them an easy target for your allies.
Wow.
It's a perfect blend of offense and support.
It's a game changer, especially when facing tough opponents or when your allies need a little help landing those critical hits.
Indeed. A tactical maneuver with devastating potential.
Speaking of helping allies, Healing Word.
A lifeline in the midst of chaos.
It's a lifesaver in the heat of battle. It's a bonus action spell, meaning you can cast it quickly without sacrificing your main action.
Efficiency and speed are key in a life-or-death struggle.
Imagine your rogue is down, clinging to life after a particularly nasty attack.
A dire situation.
You need to act fast, but you also need to keep the enemy at bay.
Every moment counts.
With Healing Word, you can bolster your rogue's defenses and keep them in the fight without missing a beat.
It's a spell that showcases the cleric's tactical flexibility, their ability to respond to changing circumstances with speed and efficiency. And it highlights the importance of positioning.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes being in the right place at the right time can mean the difference between victory and defeat.
Absolutely. Knowing when to hang back and support your allies from a distance is just as important as knowing when to charge into the fray.
Strategic awareness is paramount.
And sometimes you need a more specialized kind of protection, which is where protection from evil and good comes in.
A spiritual barrier against malevolent forces.
This spell wards off specific types of creatures like demons, devils, fae, or undead.
Creatures that prey on the weak and corrupt the innocent.
It's like a spiritual shield deflecting the corrupting influence of these malevolent entities.
Imagine your party venturing into a haunted crypt. The air thick with the stench of decay and the whispers of restless spirits. Your Dwarven Cleric, armed with protection from evil and good, stands as a bulwark against the encroaching darkness, shielding their allies from the insidious whispers and chilling touch of the undead.
It's like having a holy bodyguard.
It's a testament to the multifaceted nature of a cleric's role. They're not just healers and buffers, they're also protectors, warding off spiritual threats and safeguarding their companions from the unseen forces that lurk in the shadows.
And then there's Sanctuary.
A haven of peace amidst the storm,
This spell makes your cleric incredibly difficult to target,
shielding them from the fury of battle.
allowing them to focus on healing and support without drawing enemy fire.
A strategic retreat into a fortress of divine protection.
It's like creating a bubble of peace amidst the chaos of battle, a haven where healing energies can flow freely.
Imagine your Dwarven Cleric, surrounded by a soft, radiant light, serenely casting spells while the battle rages around them. Arrows deflect harmlessly off their ethereal shield, and even the most ferocious beasts hesitate to attack, as if sensing the divine protection surrounding them.
It's like they're untouchable.
It's a spell that reflects a more defensive playstyle, prioritizing the cleric's safety and allowing them to act as a beacon of healing and support for their allies.
Right, and finally we have Shield of Faith.
Reinforcing their defenses with the power of belief.
This spell bolsters the cleric's defenses, making them even more difficult to hit.
Imagine an invisible barrier woven from pure faith, deflecting blows and bolstering their resilience.
Remember how we talked about heavy armor?
Of course, the tangible manifestation of their protective instincts.
Oh, Shield of Faith is like adding another layer of protection on top of that.
It's like reinforcing their already impressive defenses with a wall of pure faith.
So there you have it.
A glimpse into the arsenal of a Dwarven Cleric.
A comprehensive overview of some of the most essential spells for a first-level Dwarven Cleric.
But remember, these are just building blocks.
Mm-hmm.
The true art of playing a cleric lies in understanding how these spells work together, how to adapt them to different situations, and how to combine them with your other abilities and your party's strengths to create a truly formidable force for good.
Right. It's not just about memorizing spells. It's about using them creatively, thinking strategically, and making those split-second decisions that can turn the tide of battle or save your party from disaster.
Exactly. It's about embracing the versatility of the cleric class, understanding that they are more than just healers. They are protectors, buffers, and even damage dealers when the situation demands it.
So let's talk about how our Dwarven Cleric might put all this together in a real-world scenario. What kind of tactics and strategies could they employ to overcome those dungeon challenges we were talking about earlier?
Well, imagine your dwarven cleric leading the charge into a dark and winding tunnel, their heavy armor clinking with each step.
Uh-huh.
They hold their mace in one hand, their holy symbol in the other, ready for whatever lies ahead.
Okay, the air is thick with anticipation. The only light emanating from the cleric's light spell, illuminating the path ahead.
What happens next? Well, suddenly, a group of goblins ambushes the party, springing from the shadows with rusty swords and wicked grins.
A classic dungeon encounter.
The cleric, unfazed, casts Bless upon their companions, bolstering their courage and granting them divine favor in the coming fight.
Ah, classic opening move. But those goblins are notoriously nimble and cunning.
Indeed, a formidable challenge for even the most seasoned adventurer.
How does our Dwarven Cleric handle their swift attacks?
Remember their dwarven resilience. Their bloodline accustomed to the toxins of the Underdark shrugs off the goblins' attempts to poison them, rendering their venomous blades useless.
Oh, right, they're tough as nails, these dwarves. But what about those goblins who try to dart past our stalwart cleric, aiming for the party's more vulnerable members?
The cleric, with their heavy armor and shield of faith active, stands firm as a bulwark, their defenses bolstered by their unwavering faith. They meet the goblins head-on, their mace crashing down with righteous fury, while their allies take advantage of the cleric's stalwart defense to flank the enemy and deliver decisive blows.
It's a perfect example of teamwork, utilizing the cleric's strengths to protect the party's weaknesses and create openings for their allies to exploit.
A symphony of coordinated assault.
But what if one of those goblins manages to land a lucky blow, wounding one of the party members?
That's where the cleric's healing magic comes into play.
Right.
They might use a quick healing word to stabilize a fallen comrade,
Okay.
or a more potent cure wounds to restore them to fighting strength. Their holy symbol glows with divine energy as they mend wounds and banish pain, embodying the very essence of a compassionate healer.
It's a powerful image, isn't it?
It is.
The Dwarven Cleric standing amidst the chaos of battle, a beacon of hope and resilience, protecting their allies and smiting their foes with equal fervor.
And it's a testament to the multifaceted nature of the cleric class, their ability to adapt to any situation, blending combat prowess with divine magic to emerge victorious from even the most perilous encounters.
But their skills aren't limited to combat, are they? Remember that stone cunning ability. Imagine our Dwarven Cleric pausing amidst the dungeon's depths, placing their hand on a cold, damp wall.
A moment of quiet contemplation.
Their brow furrows in concentration as they examine the stonework, seeking any irregularities that might betray a hidden passage or a cleverly concealed trap.
Their senses attuned to the secrets hidden within the stone.
Suddenly their eyes widen. There, they murmur, pointing to a seemingly innocuous section of wall, a secret door. The stonework here is too precise, too deliberate. It's a masterful disguise, but I can sense the mechanism behind it.
An astute observation, a testament to their keen perception.
It's like they have a sixth sense for all things stone, a gift from their ancestors who spent countless generations delving into the earth's secrets.
A legacy passed down through the ages.
And with their detect magic spell, they can pierce the veil of illusion, uncovering magical auras that might otherwise go unnoticed. Imagine them standing before a seemingly ordinary chest, their hand outstretched, sensing the faint hum of magical energy emanating from within.
The subtle whispers of the arcane revealing themselves to their attuned senses.
It's a testament to the cleric's role as a seeker of truth, an unmasker of deception.
Indeed, a champion of light dispelling the shadows of deceit.
They possess the tools to see beyond the surface, to perceive the unseen forces at play in the world around them.
A true guardian of balance and order.
So we've seen our Dwarven Cleric excel in combat, exploration, and even social situations with their wisdom-based skills. They're truly a versatile character, capable of adapting to any challenge and contributing to the party's success in a multitude of ways.
A shining example of the cleric's adaptability.
But what about those moments when things get really hairy? when the odds are stacked against them and they need to pull out all the stops.
Ah, the trials that forge true heroes.
What kind of tricks do they have up their sleeve for those desperate situations?
Well, that's where their understanding of their spells and their tactical acumen truly come into play.
Okay.
Remember that command spell. Imagine a scenario where the party is facing a horde of enemies, outnumbered and outmatched.
A desperate struggle against overwhelming odds.
The cleric, with a well-timed command spell, could force a key enemy to flee, creating an opening for their allies to exploit or disrupting the enemy's formation and turning the tide of battle.
It's like a psychological weapon.
Indeed, a tool to manipulate the minds of their foes.
Using the power of words to sow discord and exploit an enemy's weaknesses.
A masterful display of tactical cunning.
And what about Guiding Bolt? We've talked about its damage potential.
The potent blast of radiant energy.
But it's also a fantastic way to set up your allies for devastating attacks, especially when facing particularly tough or evasive opponents.
Imagine a scenario where the party is facing a nimble rogue, dodging and weaving through the battlefield, making it nearly impossible to land a solid blow.
Yeah, frustratingly elusive.
The cleric, with their guiding molt, can illuminate the rogue with a beam of divine light, granting advantage to the next attack and turning a frustratingly elusive foe into an easy target.
So it's not just about damage.
It's about control, about manipulating the battlefield to your advantage.
It's a perfect example of how a cleric's spells can be used for more than just healing and defense.
Precisely.
They can also be incredibly potent offensive tools, especially when used strategically and in coordination with your allies' abilities.
A symphony of destruction orchestrated by the cleric's divine power.
And in those truly desperate moments, when a party member is on the brink of death, a well-timed healing word can be the difference between life and death.
A beacon of hope in the darkest hour.
Its swift casting time allows the cleric to act quickly,
Every second counts.
stabilizing a fallen comrade and giving them a chance to fight another day.
A true testament to the cleric's healing prowess.
It's a reminder that a cleric's role is not just about dealing damage or surviving attacks,
It's about something more profound.
but about preserving life,
Upholding the sanctity of existence,
bolstering hope,
inspiring their allies to persevere.
and ensuring that their companions have the strength to carry on in the face of adversity.
A true champion of life and light.
It sounds like you're saying that building a character is just the beginning. The real magic happens when you bring them to life at the table, interacting with other players and reacting to the Dungeon Master's challenges.
Precisely. And that's where your Dwarven Cleric, with all their unique abilities and carefully chosen spells, truly comes into their own. Imagine them standing tall amidst the flickering torchlight of a dungeon, mace gleaming, holy symbol radiating warmth, ready to face any peril with unwavering faith and a heart full of courage.
It's inspiring just thinking about it.
As you delve deeper into the game, remember to consider the implications of your choices. Will your Dwarven Cleric be a stoic defender, a compassionate healer, a cunning strategist, or a blend of all these archetypes?
It really makes you think about the possibilities.
How will their dwarven heritage shape their worldview, influencing their reactions to the strange and wondrous creatures they encounter and the ancient mysteries they unravel?
It's all about bringing those details to life.
These are the questions that transform a character from a collection of stats and abilities into a living, breathing persona, a hero whose story is waiting to be told.
And that's what makes D&D so captivating.
It's a game that allows you to step into the shoes of someone extraordinary, to explore the limits of your imagination, and to create stories that will stay with you long after the dice have fallen silent.
So as you embark on your own D&D journey, remember that you're not just rolling dice and slaying monsters. You're crafting a legend. Embrace the possibilities, delve into the rich tapestry of the game's lore, and let your Dwarven Cleric's story unfold in ways you never imagined.
Who knows? Perhaps your Dwarven Cleric's tale will become one for the ages, whispered in taverns and sung by bards for generations to come.
Now that's a thought to leave you with. The power to create a legend rests in your hands. Go forth and make it epic. Thanks for joining us for another Deep Dives. We'll see you next time.